absolutely huge news for United this. Onana heading off to Trabzonspor. This is the latest from David Ornstein. Onana is open to joining Trabzonspor, waiting to review the contract for a potential loan move. They want him available for next game against Fenerbahce. There is no loan fee or buy option. I think Onana just has to go. Like, I mean, look, God, if you had any reservations, that Grimsby game was absolutely horrific. Horrific. And not just the 2 goals conceded, where he was absolutely shocking on both, but the penalty shootout, where a bag of potatoes would have had a better chance of saving one. It was absolutely horrific. And you know, in a way, look, and I know this to be true. He is a popular person around the club. You know, he's very close to people like Mbeumo, obviously their national team teammates. They are, you know, and he is a popular player at the club. And you know, Amrim doesn't dislike Onana. It's just like liking somebody and then going, you're not good enough to start for my team. And it's a sad end for Onana at Manchester United, because his last game's going to be the Grimsby game. But it was shocking. It was, you know, maybe over the summer he thought, I've got a chance. They've not bought a goalkeeper, but you can't play like he did against Grimsby. I mean, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And look, some people saying it's embarrassing that we're not going to get a loan fee and there's no obligation to buy. Is it embarrassing? I mean, to me, if I'm being honest, you know, the only thing popular about Onana at the moment is the Crapman song. And, you know, as the architect of that inadvertently, I didn't write the song. I didn't do the clips, but everybody keeps saying they've seen it. That's sort of Onana. And that's not because, like, that's not Phil Jones with the pink boots. You know, that's not just an unfortunate meme. It's not like the Bo Selector guy who took a well-known male artist called Craig David and turned him into a big puppet that went, I'm Craig David, I'm T4, can I get a rewind? With Kez, you know, completely butchered his career. We haven't butchered Onana's career. He's butchered it himself. Like, yeah, there's, you know, people call him Crapman and all that, but, you know, he has been absolutely shite, and it's well known. It's well established that he's crap. And, you know, I'm sure every club in world football knows that Onana isn't worth any money. So I think that the reality is that, look, we didn't get a loan fee for Rashford. I believe Rashford is a good player. I want to talk about Rashford a little bit later, actually, because there's some right nonsense being written about him over this international break. But we didn't get a loan fee for Rashford because his wage was so big. We're not getting a loan fee for Onana because he's basically perceived as being shit. Now, remember at the start of the week, I got a little bit of kickback on this because there was a story about Onana and Saudi, and I said it's absolutely not true. Like, the Saudis are not stupid. They're not just rich people that will buy a turd if you say it's gold. They won't do it. And they were not in for Onana. They could afford Onana like that and they could give him big wages, but they don't want shit. And they didn't want Onana. It wasn't on. It might have been on at the start of the summer, but it wasn't on in the last week or so. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. There is a club in Turkey that wants to take Onana on, but they are not willing to give us a loan fee. I think this is a good deal for everybody because he's valueless. He's absolutely got no value, but he's got 3 years left on his contract at 140 grand a week. 140 grand a week for a goalkeeper is the equivalent of 200 grand a week for an outfield player. It's a lot of money. So we've got a very expensive goalkeeper that somebody's going to take off our hands. Why would we get a loan fee as well? We wouldn't. He's very expensive, his wages. And I don't even know if Trabzonspor will pay all of his wages as well. So for us to be able to move him out, hopefully he does quite well. And in a year's time in that league, which is quite a wealthy league, somebody in that league might look at it and go, we want to buy him permanently. And he's only got 2 years left on his contract. So this is the long goodbye for Onana. We saw it with Anthony. We've seen it with Sancho. This is just a guy that's got no value, who's on big wages with 3 years left on his contract. This is removing a year of his contract, which brings his book value down, and somebody covers off some of his wages, and we remove him from the club. It's a good deal. It's a good deal for him because he's still relatively young. It's a good deal for the Turkish league because Onana is a well-known goalkeeper, and it's a good deal for us because we remove him from the equation. And when I mean we remove him from the equation, he can't be in the conversation anymore for the Manchester derby. It's literally going to be Binder or Le Mans. And I think it will be Binder, but I don't think Binder is a number one goalkeeper for Man United. And therefore, Onana won't because he's not around. So, yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it's a good deal for Manchester United. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not shocked by it. As I said, we had it on good authority that Binder or Onana would go this international break. And I'd rather it was Onana than Binder.